Bonjour, and welcome back to my favourite day of the week, New Comic Book Day. And whatever day you pick them up, maybe you only pick them up once a month, but if you love comics as much as I do, then it's just an exciting day, isn't it? And I've got 5 corkers, 5 of the superbest, bestest, and 5 also rans. I'm going to do a deep dive into the first 5, and we're just going to have a little chat about the other ones, just so we can just have a look at what makes these comics work so well. And the book of the week this week, I've got to say, we'll get to it. I'll be gushing. Anyway, before we get into it, as always, thank you so much to all of you. If you are, you know I love you sexy subscribers, so thank you first. You're the main ones, but you've got to keep watching. So if you're just viewing my channels and you haven't, please subscribe. Come on, do me a favour. I'm only joking. If you're watching, if you're liking, and especially if you're commenting, I love it all. You haven't got to agree with me either, especially if there's comics that you might be reading that I'm continually missing. I'm not showing you. I'm seeing them on the shelves. I'm not, because I can't pick everything up. These videos aren't showing you the cover of every single comic that comes out every single week. This is stuff that I select, that I love, and I do love it. It wasn't a bumper week. Got to say, I think it's all fair between DC, Marvel, Image, indies. Let's get right into it. The first one. Right, now I know this is dividing fandom, Night Terrors. From what I see on YouTube, I think this crossover is dividing. I'm really enjoying the books I'm getting. I'm not getting them all, and I know this is getting a bit boring now because I say it every week, don't I? But the books I'm getting, I'm enjoying. And the glory of this crossover is that you don't have to buy every single book. You really, really don't. It's just the big bad, and by now, spoiler alert if you don't want to know the name of the big bad in the Night Terror storyline. So just mute your sound until I wave. He's called Insomnia. Spoiler over. So the big bad, he's infected the entire world. So what DC have done, and I think they've done it really well, is make each individual title be affected by this character, but not everything is tied in. Obviously, there's like a Wonder Woman's tied into Superman this week, but other than, it's very, very tenuous. You don't need to collect every book to understand the storyline. You really, really don't. And I love it for that, because I am not the biggest fan of crossovers. Something that don't do crossovers is just exactly what it says on the tin is this, and I haven't done I Hate Fairyland for a while, and it just delivers, it continually delivers. It's Brett Bean, isn't it? Yeah, Brett Bean. See, because I said Sean Bean once before. I've never said Mr. Bean, but such a worthy successor to Scotty Young, and Scotty Young's writing on it. Them two together have gelled so well on that book, and it is hilarious. Good old Robert Kirkman, I think, is becoming such a great writer. This sci-fi issue 3 of this sci-fi story, it ends on an amazing cliffhanger. Just such a great, you just don't see it coming. And it's great to see someone use the monthly format of, I don't know what the word would be. Would it be cliffhangering? I don't know. Is that a word? I've just invented it. I'm going to copyright it. Cliffhangering. He's doing it really well in every issue. I mean, he's not the only one. Don't get me wrong, but and this I thought was going to be deadly dull. I really did. I thought, because it's the epilogue. It's the epilogue. It's issue 14. It's the epilogue to all the issues that have gone before. But I'll tell you what, El Sadarsky's pulled one out of the bag there for us. I've got to say, he's done it really well. Done it really well. But just pipped to the post. That is such a good claim for Book of the Week. But Book of the Week for me is this bad boy. I'll tell you what. If you want to see, if you just want to get back to basics, was there anything? No, they didn't reinvent the wheel in this comic book. But I'll tell you what, when Mark Waid's on form and followed up by the art team on this, I've got to say. Anyway, we're going to get into that. That's my Book of the Week. Batman and Superman, world's finest, just done properly. And like I've said before, Mark Waid makes it look easy, don't he? At the right superheroes, but he's not. 5 other books. Going to do a deep dive on those 5. If as you will know, if you're a regular viewer. If you're not, join me after the scroll. We're going to have a look at the artwork and just talk about it and comics. And I'm just going to waffle it through comics, basically. 5 more that I've enjoyed. This issue 2, yes, issue 2. It's just mad. It's a bonkers comic. It really is bonkers comic, but in a good way. I'm just really enjoying it. It's just as many Marvel characters as you can turn into Venom as possible, as humanly possible. And you know I don't like multiverse stories, but they're handling this. I don't know what. Maybe I should try and dissect it more, but maybe I'd start hating it. Maybe I'm scared of dissecting a multiverse story, because that is a multiverse story, but just Carnage wanting to kill all the Venoms. And the characters that they're venoming, venoming. What's the other word I've just invented? Cliffhangering and venoming. Cliffhangering and venoming. Anyway, this is another Night Terrors that was done really well as well. I think that's Joshua Williamson again. Do you know what? Tom Riley's artwork on this, I think I may have commented on a previous video about his artwork. I'm not really, and do you know what? I'm still not there. But cracking storyline. If you know, I'm just recommending the, you know, the ones that I'm picking up. Another great book, Magic Order, as always, Mark Millar, and just doing what he does so well. And I think I've said that before as well. This is just written as a screenplay for a TV series. And I know he puts Netflix, he puts Mark Millar at Netflix and all that on his stuff now. And Dyke Ruan on the art. I'll just quickly, because this isn't part of the deep dive, but Dyke Ruan's artwork on this is really, really nice. So just all round great package, whether you're going to get that in floppy form or a graphic novel. That'd be a stonking graphic novel. And this will be a nice little graphic novel as well when they do it. Groot. 4 issues. This is the issue 4. They've rounded out the story so nicely, so succinctly. Andy Lanning, Dan Abnett, sorry, not Andy Lanning, not his partner in crime, has crafted such a nice 4-chapter story there, involving the original Captain Marvel, and Yondar, not Yondu, Yondar from the Centauri, and his Groot's 2 mates, and the Kree Empire. He's carved such a nice story there. That will make such a, you know, it's 4 issues, so it's going to make a nice slim little graphic novel, I imagine. I hope they turn that into a little slim, a nicely priced, you know, cheap graphic novel that you can put in the hands of a younger reader. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but I can see that they've aimed it at the younger readers. Anyway, those are my choices for this week. There wasn't anything too weak. I'll tell you what wasn't too good. I'll just quickly mention it. That wasn't great. And I know they're using the What If Dark stuff as tryouts for writers and stuff, and you've got to have people have got to start somewhere. Writers and artists have got to start somewhere. But it wasn't the best. I don't detest it, but it wasn't the best. It's just the money. It's just like $4.99. It's just the money. It's going to be a tryout book. Might encourage people to try it out if you tried, if you could make it a bit cheaper. Anyway, join me after the scroll to talk about the good stuff. I think I'm having a little whinge a week now. Perhaps that's my whinge of the week, I'm going to call it. So that's my whinge of the week. Let's get into it after the scroll. So straight into the Night Terrors issue 2, Wonder Woman, which is basically a Justice League Dark, because we've got old Bobo here, we've got Swamp Thing, we got the Demon, we got John Constantine, but obviously her name's on the cover, and it's her nightmare. Which the way she overcomes it, I've got to say again, the art style. I'm not going to be a lifelong fan of this art style. I don't know what style this would suit, but in these scenes, it looks awesome. A lovely colouring job as well. Just shout out a few names here. Who's done the colouring? It's just saying Juan Ferreira is the artist, so he is doing the colouring as well. Which, nice job. Come on, nice job. I know I'm saying, look, I'm not going to be a lifelong fan of his, but I don't know. I just like a slicker kind of art style on Wonder Woman. But having said that, excuse me. Having said that, it does suit the nightmare story, doesn't it? And how she overcomes it in the Wonder Woman style, I just really enjoyed it. I was just captivated by it, and how she does it. It's just unexpected. Just unexpected how she does it. I mean, now I'm saying it. I mean, looking at the artwork again, I'm kind of loving this stuff. And it's all about the gods and how they handle, how they handle what they wish for in a way, and what you can do and what you regret, and that's where the entire Night Terrors line has been going. And like I say, this is more Justice League Dark, and I don't know why they didn't title it that, but perhaps they just wanted to tie it into all the main titles. And nevertheless, it has been a great story. This gang are great together. And I think my old mate Alex at Comics and Fantasy in Hornchurch, in Essex, in England, agrees with me. I think it's been Zatanna, but I think he's been enjoying. Correct me if I'm wrong. Next time I see you, Alex. He's been enjoying this Justice League Dark storyline as well. You just can't beat a bit of Bobo and Demon and Ragman, whatever his name is. Yeah, great. Not so great backup story, but that's for another day, isn't it? Oh, and here we go. Come on, I can't get enough of Hate Fairyland. I've just sung the praises of this book since day one, and where Scotty Young comes up with these with this idea, this conceit every single time, every single month. It just amazes me, like where it all comes from. Because last issue she basically battled all the other multiverse Gertrudes, and now she's, playing with the head of the one that. And doing this kind of stuff. Look how the colouring changes when she's talking about. So she's regaling everyone in the bar, talking about the story of taking this kid to the door that this is what she's been fighting for, to get out of Fairyland. all of these issues, all of these volumes of Fairyland. She needs to get through that door. He's got the key, but Claudius set it up so that she jumped through with him, but Gertrude being Gertrude, just kicks him through it and slams the door behind him. Oh, now he's saying, look, duh. Why the long faces? You idiot. That's how I was going to send you home. I'm not going home. Oh. Anyway, hilarity ensues from there. It's just, look, they're still playing with the head at the bar. Why Claudius is at the bar, I don't know. He's drowning his sorrows because she's not going home. Everyone's gutted. Oh, and now she realises, look at this for this is Goth City. I mean, oh, come on. Goth City. And we've seen Horribilla and, what's her sister's name? Who's in it in this issue? The witch, Terribilla. So her sister we met in previous issues is called Horribilla. Here we meet Terribilla. And you can, I haven't got to show you any more, have I? Here's Duncan Dragon, who's also hasn't received his key yet. Yeah, I just love that stuff. I just love this stuff. If you want just a good look, it's just great stuff. You know, it's so off the wall, irreverent, whatever words you want to use. Now, on the more serious fare, which is Void Rivals. Our two aliens that have learnt to help each other out, escape. Now they've been sucked in by, or now they're on this massive spaceship. Again, this is a slick job. So the two of them escape the clutches of the alien. That's I think they tractor beamed him on board. They tractor beamed them on board last issue. Have they got a little recap? No, they haven't. I'm pretty sure they're on this massive spaceship. This guy here, they escape from him, and it's a massive ship. It's just a, like they just get lost. It's just cavernous. This ship, and they come across other characters, prisoners on this ship, and Kirkman is still building these two characters up. You know, they've discovered a lot of things on their journey in this storyline. They've about themselves and what they're being told by their respective planetary governments. And it's really intriguing, and it's all coming to a head now. You think this character is going to be, the big bad of something, but he's not. So they all kind of team up to go back to this guy, and then there's a bit of a standoff where these two new characters are going, well, no, he's the bad guy, and he's going, well, no, he's the bad alien. Anyway, I can't show you any more because it leads up to a great cliffhanger. It really does. I thoroughly recommend this. It's obviously going to be in graphic novel form, but Robert Kirkman is really proven himself to be like a writer par excellence as far as, well, anything non-superhero stuff is concerned. Now, non-superhero stuff isn't my two favourite books of the week. It is, I love a well-written superhero story. I just love it. And that's why I got into comics. And I'm sorry, I enjoy the Void Rivals. You know I do. And you know I enjoy I Hate Fairyland. But when you get into writers like Chip Zdarsky that can write good superhero stuff, that's where I'm at. That's where it is for me. And what it relies on, for me, in my opinion, what good superhero stories rely on is the characters around. You can't just do a Superman comic without Clark Kent and Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen and Perry White and etc. You need you need the villains, obviously, but you need the heart of the story has got to be. So we've got Foggy and what's his name? North, like it's Nelson and North now. I forget his first name, which is a nice tie. I think is he the Moon Knight bloke now? I don't know. So forgive me for that. Forgive me, but I think he is. Anyway, here we go. Bosh. Two ne'er-do-wells coming into Hell's Kitchen. Look who's on the case. Now, this is the epilogue. I think it did say it, didn't it? The conclusion to the Red Fist saga. This is just an epilogue, to be fair, because we all saw what happened to Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in the last issue, didn't we? He was actually in hell. And so is it left up to Elektra now? AKA Daredevil, you know, she's the one on the, you know, she's Jenny on the block now. You've got Wilson Fisk's son. I forget his name now. Faris? Anyway, doesn't matter. Wilson Fisk's son. They're setting him up nicely. This is what I mean about good writing. You know, this is the conclusion to the Red Fist saga, but they're just leaving this one. They've introduced him, and I'm going to call her Elektra. Elektra kind of. This was a well-written scene, by the way. Smashing and slashing up all of his artwork until she gets to this one. That's really nicely done. Those 2 pages, I've got to say, top notch. It's stuff like that where you think, you know, you're reading a superhero comic and it comes up to something like that. No words. You know, Butch that's his name. Here we go. Lovely artwork, beautiful. Good old Reed Richards. Foggy's handing it, you know, Foggy's saying to Reed, you know, here's his chess set, we love playing it and talking over it and blah blah. Here's a local woman. And then it goes, and then it gets, Elektra and Foggy think they keep seeing Matt. And again, I think this is nicely done. This is nothing new, you know, they're not rewriting comic book history, but I just think this is really nice. The stylized, you know, even this character says, "Oh, I knew it was Elektra because of the hair." Sequential storytelling. Chat, chat, chat. A look. Who's that? Who does that look like? Excuse me, has to follow. Look at that. You can just hear the fluttering. As you look through that, I could just hear the fluttering of the pigeons. I could just hear it. What a great, beautiful 2 pages of artwork, sequential storytelling. And the new priest, look who it might not be. And how he done it, look, with the gummy devils. He's been given that by the woman in the shop to give to the kids when they come to church. Beautifully. Just a beautiful issue, which I thought was going to be deadly dull and boring. I really did. I've got to admit, because I've been a collector of Daredevil since day one, I thought this was going to be such a boring, like, oh my God, it's the epilogue to the, you know, to one of the biggest events in Daredevil's history. But I've got to say, was really, really glad to be pleasantly surprised by this issue. I'm not going to show you the end. I'm not going to show you the end because you need to check it out, or check out the trade paperbacks that they do. They'll obviously do an 8 and a 6 or a 2/7, whatever they're going to do of this run of the Red Fist saga. They might even do a big, massive one, but that'll be worth every penny. Honestly, it really will. And from that, superheroes done so well. You know, that's one of my favourite characters of all time. Now, for me to choose a book of the week over my favourite character, a book I've enjoyed that much. I'm not saying I've ever never enjoyed these characters, but Daredevil I've been with since day one. But this book, this comic book, years ago, and how Mark Waid sets out Clark Kent investigating something that's gone on in Gotham, and how he ties in, Phantom Riddles Part 1. This is just glorious. Glorious. And it's to do with the Riddler towards the end of it. How Mark Waid handles, and I don't think I've ever seen this before, when Superman and Batman first met. Welcome to Gotham, Superman. I love it. I just so enjoyed this. Was so unexpected, but nevertheless so thoroughly enjoyable that I just couldn't help myself. It's just a page turner. Artwork superb, characterization superb. Even little bits like this, where Batman's kind of interfering on Superman's collar, and as if because he's got a gun, he's even saying unnecessary, but I appreciate the thought. Nice teamwork, and I prefer to work alone. It's the early days Batman. I just really enjoyed it, and obviously we've got the Riddler here and his early days, and what brings it's just basically the story of what brought them both together. And then we move on to the even more interesting. So as much as I enjoyed Batman meeting Superman, this is what really makes this comic come alive. It's Bruce Wayne meeting Clark Kent. And I know they've done it in that film, whatever it is, but Bruce Wayne has basically worked out the flight patterns of where Superman tends to appear and where he disappears to after he's done his missions. So Bruce Wayne has worked out that Clark Kent is Superman. Don't worry, Clark, your secret is safe from me. And he goes, look, but I've got one of my own. And he goes, oh, I know. And then they're going down in the Batcave. How cool. This is such a cool... And I don't know if I'm going a bit too comic book geek, that I'm really geeking out about this comic. But do you know what? I don't care. I just thoroughly enjoyed every page of this DC comic. And I know I've said this before as well. I've never been I've been Mr. Marvel, man. Not Mr. Marvel man, Mr. Marvel, man. But cover of the week we've got to do now, guys. So that is my book of the week. Absolutely. The 17 issues leading up to here, I think I've reviewed a lot of them. But this is a first chapter. Just look out. Just look out for this one. What was it called? The Phantom Riddler, or whatever it's going to be in graphic. Phantom Riddles. Whatever, if that's going to be the name of the graphic novel they do. But we've got to talk about cover of the week. Like, if you only had money enough for one or two comics as a kid, and you went up to those spinners, and you saw Batman and Superman in one comic. Now, yeah, that kind of has you at hello, doesn't it? In a way, Batman and Superman in one comic. I mean, that's bang for your buck. But my God, they up the ante here in a Venomverse. These covers are beautiful, and it is Bjorn. Got to give the bloke a shout out. Bjorn Barends. His covers for these Venomverse comics, absolutely superb. Again, DC, double bubble, Skeletons, Superman, Red Eyes, Supergirl. Look how sinister. How sinister. The Magic Order. Got to admit, old boy on his knees with this character here, the light shining off the leather, the tight leather mask. Brilliant. I've got to bring in this group cover, because look at the zipper tongue. They've used zipper tongue. Now, I don't know. I'm assuming, I don't believe that they've got the clear zipper tone and cut it into the shapes like they had to in the old days when you needed to use zipper tone on your artwork. But I just love the way they have recreated. There's no unnecessary, but appreciated. So I love you. Whoever did that. And this cover, I've just got to show you guys. The Conan comic, issue 1, the Titan. How it reminded me, how this Mike Mignola doing the Conan cut, and I'm a big Mignola fan, so I had to. His depiction of Conan is like nothing like you would ever imagine, and it reminded me of Mick McMahon when he did Slain in 2000 AD. Not the Simon Bisley, the same character, Simon Bisley, the Horned God. It just reminded me, before that, Mick McMahon done a take on Slain, which really did divide the comic community, certainly in Britain, in England. Sorry, I apologise to younger listeners, viewers, if you don't know who Mick McMahon is, but he's an artist, a bit like Mignola. But I just had to show that cover because I thought that was an amazing, but only because I'm a big Mignola fan. I suppose for cover of the week, there's only a couple more contenders. I mean, you're never gonna beat a bit of I Hate Fairyland. That does sum up what's inside. I mean, you're not going to get more gory than that. And also, that's a pretty cool. I've got to say, that's a pretty cool Wonder Woman cover. But for me, the cover of the week, as beautiful artwork as that is, and as sinister as that looks, I mean, it was out of these two, to be fair. As sinister as that is, I don't think you can beat getting back to basics with that cover. Batman, Superman, world's finest. I know it's not action-packed, but I've got to admit, and I've just realised, there's a dinosaur in it as well from the Batcave. So, definitely. 100% cover of the week. And just one note I've noticed, $3.99 for that, for Batman and Superman. And this is another thing, going back to having pocket money around the spinners. And like I say, that Moon Knight tryout for the new writers and artists and etc. was $4.99. And I know I'm only talking about $1. But what would you spend? You could buy sweets with that $1 and still come away from the shop with a comic if you only had $5. Marvel have really got to sort some stuff out. They really have. DC are really, for me, they're really getting their act together. Not perfect, but they are definitely getting their act together for me. On that note, I am going to bid. I hope you enjoyed all of that waffle, comic book waffle. I love it. And I hope you will join me. Actually, I was going to say next week, but I'm skipping a week because I will be on a holiday. So I will see you all in 2 weeks' time for the next Hog Waffle. Adios.